but I just wanted to make sure that I had everything set up properly. I didn't want there to be any issues. I don't want there to be any malfunctions. I don't want any problems at all as far as this video, okay? Because I'm excited about it. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to talk about some things, all right? Happy Friday. I hope everybody is doing well. Hello, hello, hello. Hope everyone is doing amazing. Welcome to those of you who are coming on Instagram. Of course, New Thing Life Coaching on Instagram. Of course, we have some people here in the Sash Tribe, my private community, my private group of women on Facebook. Of course, if you are a single Christian lady, come on in. Like, some of the best work is done inside of the Sash Tribe, all right? Then, of course, we're going to have this going to YouTube later on as well. So everybody will be able to take part and see it. I just want to make sure that, yeah, nobody misses out, whether you are in the Sash Tribe, whether you're a follower on Instagram, of course, whether you're on the mailing list, a YouTube subscriber, all that other good stuff. I just want to make sure that we are all the way clear. So officially 12:30, so I'm going to go ahead and get started as far as this is concerned. So welcome, 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 my wonderful ladies. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you all are having an amazing Friday, all right? Welcome to all of my veterans, my newbies, my transformers, because we are all about what? Transforming in order to win at love, all right? I am Coach V. I am the new love strategist. I'm a certified life, dating, and relationship coach. I'm also an online dating consultant. So if you're like ready to go ahead and start that online dating profile, let's talk about it, because I got you. Like, I specialize in that area and making sure that you get results in that area, all right? I help single, frustrated women when it comes to renewing their hearts, and I prepare them with the intentional dating skills. Keyword intentional. I help them with the intentional dating skills that are necessary in order to win at Kingdom Love. I do that via one-on-one coaching. I have my 12-week intensive, the Academy, and then I also have a monthly membership program. Learn everything at newthinglifecoaching.com, all right? New news, I like to keep y'all updated, all right, because there's always a couple of things going on. I always say 2022 is all about the We Will Win movement. It is all about, of course, making sure that you will win at love. And, of course, that is based on you being a part of N2L, which is the month-to-month membership, or being in New Heart Academy, which is the 12-week intensive. Just so you know, currently the New Heart Academy, the 12-week intensive enrollment closes this weekend. This is a 12-week intensive, okay? And it would be almost impossible to catch up at a later time, because each class, like those who are in can tell you, there's a lot that goes into each and every one of those classes. Like, and it would be very easy to get behind. Like, it's literally all about renewing your heart and going through some serious transformation. So that is why I don't keep, enrollment open forever as far as that. So that is about to close. If you know that you've been meaning to enroll in New Heart Academy, you need to come on in ASAP, all right? And then, of course, coming up, if you are on the mailing list, and you already know about WallCon, the first annual Win at Love conference. It is going to be virtual this year just because of everything being COVID-y, all right? And I myself being someone who just had the Omarion, like, we're just going to do it virtual this year. So Valentine's weekend is one in which we are going to be breaking chains, experiencing deliverance, the whole nine. Like, we are going to be breaking some stuff that your mama and your grandmama passed down to you. It is going to be an amazing time, even though it is going to be virtual. You don't want to miss out on that. Register enough time so that you can get your workbook sent on out to you. I am excited, all right? I'm going to be bringing the heat when it comes to that event. You can learn about that at the website as well, all right? So I hope you all caught the New Motivation podcast from this past Monday titled Don't Decide Yet. Just talking about, just really wanting to remind you to pause before you make a move when it comes to a man, because sometimes we make decisions hastily, right? Like, sometimes we're not always thinking before we leave or stay when it comes to a guy. And I love an acronym that I saw recently, and it was saying HALT. Like, stop and think before you make a move, and use the HALT method, because it's like hungry, angry, lonely, tired. When you are one of those things, you don't need to be making a decision either way. This is Fresh Face Friday. It is time for a training video, and I want to talk about knowing when you should actually proceed with a guy, how to know if he's the one. And I do quotations. Y'all know how I feel about, the whole one notion. I've always said, and I will stand by, I don't believe there's any such thing as the one. The one is whichever one you choose, whichever one you end up with. So I'm not one to really go, with that whole the one thing. But I want you to be confident when it comes to like, hey, like I've been dating this guy and I'm just trying to figure out like, should I at least proceed or is this going to be a waste of time? So we're going to talk about that for a good bit today. All right. I have many different things that I want to talk about. I'm going to give you a lot of information, but you're going to walk away again, much more confident when it comes to whether or not that guy needs to go or not. So if you just came on, you're going to see me looking back and forth. I got a couple of different cameras going. I just want to make sure that everyone gets to, everyone feels important because we are all important at the end of the day. I talk about attachment styles a lot, primarily because this is something that I have been studying a lot more. Attachment styles is something that I've been looking into a lot. And I study it because one attachment style in particular, it correlates to most of my clients. Like most of my clients fit in this one particular attachment style. And I'm not really going to go into detail with that, but if you're familiar with the attachment styles, then you know that there's anxious, there's avoidant, and then there's secure. So those are the three attachment styles that determine how you do relationships. But what I've realized and what has actually been proven, to be true is that avoidance are the ones that are typically waiting on the one. The ones that actually have the avoidant attachment style. And so with ladies, if that is your attachment style, what that is showing is that a lot of times, like you might find fault with every guy. You might be a little bit hesitant to let someone, of course, get too close to you because primarily what that's all about is there is this idea in your head that it will happen a certain way. Things are going to take place. This guy is going to be exactly what it is that you are expecting him to be because God said that you can pray about any and everything, right? Like, y'all better stop treating God like he is some little genie that pops out exactly whatever it is that you want in a man. So I realize that a lot of people are avoidance where it's like they don't even give something to accommodate. Nope, I'm waiting on perfection. I know exactly what I want, blah, 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 whatever. So there's a mini session that I offer, and I realize that a lot of you use this mini session when it's time to ask about a particular guy. Like my bestie session, it's kind of like a little small kept secret because most of you, a lot of my clients, should I say, they've either done one-on-one, the academy, or the monthly program, but I have this like little 30-minute session that people can book, and I've realized almost everyone that has ever booked that session, it's because they want to talk about one particular guy that they are dating. And a lot of you like it because it's quick advice. It's more chill. It's laid back. Like it's not me being in like full coach mode, but as I always say, professional BFF. So let's chat because as you date, and I know a lot of you are just like being, like more determined to like date this year. You want to be more proactive and stuff like that. You're interacting more. You're on the dating sites. You're probably swiping and everything again. Confidence on deciding and knowing if a man is one that you should proceed with. That is what I want to talk about. Because sometimes you want to know if he's the one, but you got to really keep in mind that is not going to be known until you even decide to proceed, right? Like, I want to know if he's the one. No, you're not going to know if he's the one quite yet. But even early on in dating, there are ways that you can determine, again, early on, is this somebody I should even give time to? Is this someone who I should even be willing to invest time in? So let's start there. You're seeing someone, how to know if you should proceed. First things first, I got to get this out the way. In order to even know any of those things, in order for you to have confidence in that area, you got to know you. Yes, I said got to. You got to know you. You have to know who you are, and I mean all aspects of you, every single thing about you. What I have realized being a coach for years, helping ladies out, is that this is what trips many of you up. This is what gets in the way for many of you. You don't really know who you are. You haven't developed, as I always call it, that high intensity self-awareness. Like you're not sure of every single thing that makes all of you up. And the thing is, when you know who you are, when you are confident about who you are, that means that you also know what you want. it means you also know what it is you need. And those are the things that will help you to date better. So when I say knowing who you are, I'm not saying answering like a basic question as, oh, I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor, I'm a bank teller, I da 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 da, and I'm a Christian. No. Can we go a little bit deeper, because you can always strip a lot of those titles and labels away. I need you to go a little bit deeper when it comes to knowing exactly who you are. Do you know what your purpose is? Because I'm a Christian coach at the end of the day. So if you're new, follow me on Instagram, or you just happen to, I'm a Christian coach. I just want to go to make that clear. We all have a specific purpose. It says the two most important days of our lives, the day you were born and the day that you figure out why. What is your purpose? What area has God called you to? Because knowing your purpose matters. Because you want to make sure that you're going to be dating and dealing with a guy who is also okay with that. If God is calling you to do mission trips around the world, but dude don't even have a passport, what is your purpose? And then what are your gifts? Yeah, your spiritual gifts, but what are your gifts? And, there are things that you are gifted with. Because the last thing that you would ever want is to be with a man who can't even accept and receive your gifts, or a guy who tries to get you to keep your gifts inside of a box because he doesn't want them to overshine or bring too much attention or whatever else. So what are your purposes? What are your gifts? I always ask ladies, what are your strengths? What are you good at? What are your weaknesses? You need to know all of these things about you, every single bit of it, because these things will tell you who you are and what kind of man will fit with you, what kind of man would actually be good as far as a relationship with you. And I'm not trying to sound harsh, but I'm so sick of women who are so focused on compatibility. They're looking to see if a man is compatible. Listen, compatibility is an achievement of love. Compatibility is not a prerequisite. It is not a precondition. It is not something that needs to come beforehand. So when I say that, as in, like, you have to stop basing how far you go with the man based on the things that y'all have in common. Oh, it's so crazy. We like a lot of the same music. We like a lot of the same food. So going out to eat is never a problem. And, we like the same movies. Who cares? Like, those are the things that, like, people who are happily married and who have been married for a while, those are the kind of things that they don't mind disagreeing over, because those are all surface level. I always say the key is what? Suitable and complementary. The Bible don't say anything about being compatible. It talks about having someone who's suitable to you, your purpose, your gifts, your calling. Someone who is complementary as far as, again, your strengths, your weaknesses, your gifts, your talents, all of that stuff. So right now, you really need to make sure that in this season that you are guarding your heart, because chemistry and compatibility, those things do not equate to anything being destiny and divine. Not at all. So you have to know who you are before, and I'm going to get into all the other fun stuff, but you have to know who you are really before even dating. But knowing who you are, those are the kind of things, again, that first and foremost is going to help you realize, okay, does this man fit who I am? I talk about core 3 a lot. Core identity. That is a part of knowing who you are to the core, the person that shows up no matter what role you're fulfilling, the person who shows up at church, friendships, on the job, whatever, that person that is always showing up. That is who you are to your core. Those are the things that would describe you. That is important for you to know, because you need to be with a man who can accept you for you. But if you don't even know who you are, you can't expect anyone to accept you. So who are you? Core, that's your core identity. And then your core values. What are the things that you value, whether it's education, financial freedom, family time? I value, do you value God? Do you value alone time? Whatever you value, like, those are the things that can make or break a relationship. And it's all about making sure that someone shares a lot of the things that you value at the end of the day. And then what are your core beliefs, the things that you believe in? I don't mean like Bible, because like that's already, like, we're Christians. But what are your core beliefs? Like, when it comes to, what do you think about people and the world and politics, and just certain stuff like that. You don't need someone who is going to share your beliefs, but you do need someone who is going to respect them. I had a guy, we were very compatible in many ways. We got along great in many ways. We shared some different, and when it came to the future, all of that other good stuff. But he had a problem respecting my beliefs, and it always caused conflict. I was like, yeah, this is what we're not fitting to do. You got to go. Because you can't even respect my beliefs. Everything is about you trying to tell me why I'm wrong or why I need to change my mind. We're not doing that. So You need to know the core three, as I call it: identity, values, beliefs, so he can accept you, share your values, and respect your beliefs, all right? And like I said earlier, treating God like he is a genie who just pops out exactly what it is that we're wanting or asking for in a man. No, it's funny, hashtag not really, but it is very interesting, let's say that, not funny, that most of the ladies that have a long list of what they want, desire, and expect in a man, and they're waiting on that special someone, I realize that a lot of those are the same ladies that don't really know themselves. And I've realized that a lot, and this is just for me, even working with women especially, but a lot of them, their desires and their wants and the things that they have on that list, whether it's physical, mental, whatever, in their head, a lot of the stuff that they want, it oftentimes serves as a replacement for their deficits. A lot of times women have things that they are saying, this is the standard, this is what I prefer, this is what I desire, this is what I want. Those things are serving as replacements for their deficits. Listen, I've realized personally and professionally, because again, used to be me as well, that women with longer lists and preferences are the ones that really don't know who they are. They haven't figured themselves out. They haven't gotten stable in this area yet. So it's like, well, I need someone who can do this and provide this and bring this and help with this and da-da-da-da-da, because they're all over the place themselves. Like, they're all over the place themselves. Like, you really got to be mindful of that. And if you are one of those people who's sitting there asking, like, well, who am I? That is literally the name of February's course for N2L, the monthly membership program. Hint, hint. Just saying. As a reminder, when you come on in, you do get a free t-shirt next month as well with Loved by Him, because even if you don't know who you are, I don't care if you're single, guess what? I still want you to know that you are loved by God, so you will be getting that t-shirt. So know who you are, okay? Moving along to the next level, now that I got that disclaimer out the way, I had to talk about you because you are the foundation upon which you are building, right? Like, it all is going to start with you. So after getting to the root of you, after knowing exactly who you are, your attachment style does matter. Like, you have to know your attachment style. What is it? Again, there's anxious. That means that you might be one of those people who you kind of like make, when you're in a new relationship or a relationship at all, you make everything about that person. You want to make sure that you're good. Your eyes are always open. You're always looking for red flags and things like that. And it's one of those like, hey, I hope we're not about to break up. I hope I didn't do too much. I hope he's, not leaving me. I hope he's actually satisfied, fulfilled, da-da-da-da-da. People who have an anxious attachment style are preoccupied with their partners. Then there is avoidance. It's like, I want you around, but don't get too close to me. Like, they're going to kind of have that barrier when it comes to physical, emotional, and or mental intimacy. They avoid a lot of emotions and stuff like that. And it could be, for various reasons. Maybe they got hurt, whatever. Then there's the secure attachment style, where it's like, no, like, they're good in a relationship, no issues, no insecurities, none of that stuff. You have to know which attachment style is yours. From there, with this guy, guess what? You have to know his attachment style as well. You have to pay attention. Does he avoid certain conversations? Does he avoid physical intimacy? Does he avoid emotional intimacy? Does he avoid allowing you to get in? Or is he one of those people who is very preoccupied with you and y'all have to check in all the time, or y'all want to talk and text several different times? Or are you that person? Or is he one of those secure people where it's like, he reassures you of certain things and whatever. So you have to know your attachment style. You have to know his. Because first things I will also say, in order for a relationship to work, last, in order for it to be healthy, one person has to be secure. If one of you is not secure, the relationship is just going to go to hell in a handbasket. It is not going to work out at all. Attachment styles matter greatly. So think about some of the things that maybe y'all are arguing about or disagreeing on, or if you're realizing that, one of your needs are not being met in some way, then it's like, it's time to actually consider, like, okay, this is probably not going to work. Next thing would be strengths and weaknesses. Again, I know I talked about that, but back to it. You have to know those things. Why? Because you are going to need to ensure that this man can appreciate your strengths at the end of the day. Your strengths are what make you who you are. They add value to any relationship. And the most important relationship is the one that is going to lead to you saying, I do. And what I've noticed as well is that too many women, out of frustration and desperation, they water themselves down when it comes to their strengths, when it comes to their gifts. They water themselves down, never operating at their greatest capacity. Why? Because for some men, it might be too much and they don't want to lose that man, so they'll back off. Does this man appreciate your strength? Do you allow those things to show up in the relationship with him? And I don't care if y'all are committed or not, like it's still a relationship, even if it's dating, right? How is he when it comes to your strength? Does he appreciate those things? Does he see how he can benefit from those things and how your strengths are going to add to the overall happiness and success of the relationship? And then your weaknesses, those are just as important. Are you honest with yourself, first of all, about your weaknesses? And then how does he react to those things? Does he make you feel some type of way? Does he tease you about them? Does he bring those things up? Is he always mentioning your weaknesses? Like I said, is he teasing you about those things? Or is it one of those things where it's like, hey, baby, where you're weak, guess what, boo, I got you. Where it's like he can balance you out. Is he the strong one in an area where you are weak when it comes to faith, when it comes to finances, when it comes to discipline, organization, planning, when it comes to godly submission, when it comes to staying focused, staying on track, when it comes to self-control, whatever. Somebody got to be better than the other in one of those areas, because like those areas are all important, right? So it's like right now we're marriage minded. We're thinking about the future. We're thinking about long term. So you got to ensure like, hey, faith, because we want to make sure that this relationship is going to be, based on having God at the center. So obviously both of you need to be Christians, right? But it's also kind of looking and examining like, okay, so where's this going to work? Like, can he balance me out if I'm whatever in this area? Can I, balance him out? You got to think about all those finances. Somebody got to be good with money. Unless it's one of those, it doesn't matter if we're living under a bridge, we're going to be good no matter what. Somebody has to be financially disciplined in order for it to work. Somebody has to be disciplined in general. Someone has to be organized. Like all of these things, like you got to think about. So strengths and weaknesses, if you're dating someone right now, if you're involved in a relationship, whatever, evaluate where y'all are with your strengths and weaknesses, but also with his as well. Have you noticed that he's weak in a certain area? Is that a deal breaker? Are you willing to, be strong for him in that area? Are you willing to carry him in that area? I know we want men to be like 100% perfect, ready-made, coming all the way, but Corinthians says that husbands are not made for the wives are made for the husband. Like we are created for them, okay? Jesus said it, take it up with him, all right? That's my boss. Next thing would be gender roles. Like, my God, the marriage killers on today, like you really have to examine the gender roles. Now, at the end of the day, both of you have an obligation to pray, provide, protect, and produce. Both of you have an obligation to pray, provide, protect, and produce. But that might look differently for both of you. One of you might have to carry the majority of the weight in one of those sectors. Have you identified in which ways can he provide, and does he provide in ways that you might not be able to? Is he able to produce, certain things? Is he able to protect you, emotionally speaking, physically speaking, all of those things? And it's realizing, if you're like an old school person like I am, and I don't make no whatever about that, if he's the provider, okay, are you realizing that when he provides, you now have an obligation to produce from that area? So those are things that you need to look at as well when it comes to this guy and going deeper into gender roles, because I realize today, Jesus, these are the things that a lot of people single. And sorry, not sorry, but I see it a lot with a lot of the things that women kind of like roll their eyes when it's like certain things that men expect, but then it's like we expect men to do certain things, but it's like, you better be, paying most of the bills and da-da-da-da-da. But it's like, God forbid a man think I'm just going to be home cooking. Then what are you going to be doing? You want him to do all of it? What are you doing? Shopping? What are you on Amazon? What's going on here? So what do you think the roles are of a woman when it comes to a relationship and when it comes to a marriage? What do you think about working? What do you think about cooking? What do you think about cleaning, children, finances? Getting real with yourself. Sorry, my chair keeps falling down. Yes, I'm still dealing with this issue. Nope, I never bought a new chair. Okay, that's just me. What do you think, of course, the roles are when it comes to those things? What do you think that your role should be? How do you feel about cooking and cleaning, working, children, finances? Because now you got to figure out this guy that you're dating, okay, before you go a step further, does he feel the same way? Or do y'all have opposing views? Do one of y'all have the 50-50 mindset when it comes to finances, when it comes to chores, when it comes to whatever? Again, this all goes back to you. It goes back to knowing all parts of you. Like, there are things that I believe, and there are things that I rock with. There are things that I have always known and preferred, but I meet a man, Fresh Face Friday, I'm always going to tell my story. I'd meet a man and I'd switch up because I didn't want to lose him. I didn't want us to be over. So there were certain things that I knew I felt strongly about, but I was like, well, I like him. I think this can work. I'm willing to forego. I'm willing to make an exception there. The ghetto. I ain't doing that no more, though. I'm not playing that game anymore. Like, I don't. Once I got clear on who I am and what I prefer and how I expect things to run, that's when it made it easier to date. Because I always say, y'all already know, I always say that dating is nothing but practicing at relationships. No one said sex. No one said moving in together. No one said, all of this other nonsense. I always say dating is you getting to know that man as a person, because that will help you determine if you're even going to want him as a partner. So with me, once I got clear on certain things, it was easy for me to be like, oh, okay, well, I don't really feel that way, and I see that this is going to be, okay, next, it was nice meeting you. Oh, okay, well, I disagree with that wholeheartedly, and, that's like a deal breaker for me. Okay, next. Or, if a man might be like, oh, well, I don't feel as if, as a man I should be. Okay, and if you know that matters to you, okay, next, it was nice meeting you, no hard feelings. But a lot of times, instead of doing that, we either try to work around or compromise or placate or whatever. Oh, we'll cross that bridge later. No, there are certain things that I had to start saying as well. Like, no, I don't think a woman should be responsible for. No, I don't agree that a woman should have to worry about that. No, I don't agree with. Next. Too many people want to change for the sake of getting or keeping a man, and then they're miserable when the butterflies wear off later, because when your brain is in love and you're feeling that person, you are literally still pumping out a lot of those feel-good hormones and those positive neurotransmitters up to 3 years after meeting someone. This is why it is so important to find out early on if you should proceed with someone, because it's like, hey, when the butterflies wear off and I might no longer be in love, this is going to be the person that I'm choosing to love. Because think of how many people get married in less than 3 years, and I don't think that there is anything wrong with that. But this is why you have to examine the important things. Again, like I said, when all those things wear off, it's like, okay, are you still going to want that person? So Christians and dating, as I said before, it can be one of those things I hate sometimes, even as a dating coach, because I see that it's looked at as the whole connecting just to disconnect. Oh, if I don't like this, next. That's why sometimes I don't really like the notion of dating, because marriage is to be long-term. It's not one of those things you just walk out when it's like, oh, okay, I don't like this person anymore. Oh, I've had enough, so I can get a divorce. But I am all about intentional dating. I'm all about intentional dating. That is seeing the red flags early on and leaving. And I'm not talking about, anything that is based on superficial preferences, insecurities. I'm talking about true red flags like pass, do not collect $200, go, get the heck on, like absolute red flags, like warning sign. Like dude already showed that he was clingy, controlling, was going to try to change you. Any signs of, that he could be abusive or, just whatever. Anything like that. So when you are intentionally dating, then you're going to pass when you see the red flags. When you are intentionally dating, this is where effective communication comes in early on. That includes you communicating your stance on things as far as your values, your beliefs, how you feel dating should go. Intentional dating is realizing that there are several men out there that you'd be suitable and complementary with. Wisdom is just all about you picking the right one. These trash people are late and loud. Sorry. It's very loud behind me. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but the trash just got here. Intentional dating is making your expectations known and clear. Again, on gender roles, Those are things you got to talk about early on. Again, being honest, like, hey, well, I feel this way, showing that you expected to be treated as a lady. And if you are one of those females that feels like, yes, I believe that a man should pay for, that he should court me, that he should pay for dates, I should never have to go on my wallet, you are well within your right to have that as an expectation. You need to also make sure that you are communicating that. It's not fair to assume that a man feels the same way. You have to open up your mouth and communicate that to him, make your expectation known, and then see how he responds to it. If you feel as if the man should be opening doors, some men were not raised that way. Maybe some men didn't see it. But I'm one of those people, I would always step to the side. We're walking up to a restaurant or whatever, I'm going to step to the side. Because I'm not going to open no door when no man is around. I do that with my teenage son all the time. And I'll stand and, of course, he's off in his own little world. He's like, what? Something wrong with the door? Something on it? Is it a bug? Boy, if you don't come open up this before I grab you by the old dreads, like, let's go. But if you have certain expectations, even when it comes to what role you want to fulfill as a woman, are you even comfortable enough with this man? Have y'all developed that emotional intimacy where you are making your expectations known? If you know that getting and being courted is something that you expect, again, you should be setting the tone as far as that is concerned. So another marriage killer, and, should you proceed with this guy is, is he a Christian? Like, I think that should be the obvious. That should be the standard. Does he believe in the Holy Trinity? Does he believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost? Okay? Like, stop making excuses for Muslims and atheists, and he might come around and he might change. Equally yoked, I'm not even going to go in that direction. I'm going to leave that alone, okay? Back to core 3. Like I said, you have to know your identity, your values, your beliefs. Now you also need to pay attention to his core identity, his core values, his core beliefs. Who is he? Does he know who he is? And can you accept all of him? When you think about everything that this man is showing you, because the way that he shows up in traffic, road trips, restaurants, when y'all are cuddling on the couch or whatever else, like, that is who he is to his core, okay? So can you accept all of that right now? I promise. I'm serious. I'm going to get a new chair. I promise. Can you accept all of him right now? Because I always say, you got to pretend and act like dude will never change. However he is right now, I don't care what his goals are and whatever else, check his ambition level, but you have to say, okay, for who this man is right now, what if he never changes? Are you okay with that for the rest of y'all's lives together? That will tell you if you should proceed with that man. Are you okay, comfortable, and confident with what he is showing you right now? And then what he values. Does he even know what he values? Because some of these men are just out here just winging it. They just wing it. It's like, oh, those are the go with the flow kind of men. Those are the men who don't really have a 5-year plan, 5 year. I'm just living life. Life is to be enjoyed. All that planning. I'm just one of those. I'm a free thinker. Oh, so in other words, you don't value anything, or you just value freedom. Okay. Well, is that okay with you? That ain't okay with me. I'm a planner. Now, yes, I realized in the past that I needed to date men who could balance me out. But yeah, what does he value? Does he know? Do you share those values? And the thing is that women, we are a little bit more adaptable, but what a man values will always, always reveal where most of his time will be spent. We as ladies, we know how to juggle. We know how to, this season, something might get a little bit less attention, and then we might, this season pick it back up, or sometimes simultaneously, whatever. Men don't really operate that way. Men are pretty like one-track mind, and whatever they value, whatever they are focused on, whatever their goal is, that is where they are going to be in that season. Whatever they value is that is where all of their time, energy, and effort is going to go into, and you have to realize if that is something you can deal with. I talked about that extensively in the Simplicity Dating Masterclass. But you got to think if this man values financial freedom, not just stability, but financial freedom, as in the free club. He's part of the free club where it's you're free to eat, travel, or do whatever you want because money is not an issue, then guess what? Your strength needs to be patience and understanding. Because that means that this man is going to be a hard worker. Or, he's going to have different projects he's working on, or he's always going to be focused on investments and checking stocks and whatever else. You got to understand that if this man values family and y'all are not yet, to that level where y'all don't have a family, then guess what? That means he's going to spend a lot of time with his family. It means he might be a mama's boy, or he just might be someone who's always with his cousins, or he likes big family get-togethers. So again, can you accept that? Are you okay? Do you share those values? What his beliefs are, can you look at that as well? When it comes to his core three, what are his beliefs about life, the world, religion, people, Christianity, other races, animals? Because y'all know me and my pets, me and my animals, like me and we just had this conversation last night. But I have literally in the past, I have stopped dating men who had an issue with pets or animals. Because if you don't care for animals at all, but I know that that is something that is important to my kids and I, like we are always buying more pets. We are always bringing some type of animal in the house. Pets don't last forever. When they die, guess what? It's not, oh, that season is, no, we're back at the pet store within like a week, buying another pet. I would always make sure men know, like I am that wife that will probably come home with like a wild rabbit and try to domesticate it. Like, I never, but I saw the little puppy shivering and it was a whole freaking coyote or something and didn't even know it. I am that person. But you have to know like what his beliefs are and whatever else. And will it be a struggle for you to respect those things? Will it be one of those things where it's like, oh, okay, so he believes in this and he doesn't. If you know that you can't respect it or get with it, or if it goes against your beliefs or it makes you feel some type of way, guess what? If you decide to stay with this man, therein lies a future problem or issue. You got to go. You got to go. Something else that you have to check and pay attention to is emotional availability. I talked about that just last Friday in the training video. Emotional availability is a big one. But can this man that you are seeing, that you're interested in, that you like or whatever, can he meet your emotional needs? Because we know that we can be emotional, right? We can be like very emotional. We're females, right? Well, then at the same time, some of you are avoidant and you're not very whatever. Maybe you don't really show a lot of emotional. But is this man, are y'all emotionally compatible? Does he meet your emotional needs? Is he emotionally generous with the emotion so you never have to guess and wonder how he's feeling or what? Because nobody wants to be in a relationship where you don't even know how the person is feeling. Nobody likes, that's not enjoyable. I got a 14-year-old daughter who reminds me of that. Like, I don't got time with that nonsense. Now, not to contradict things that I've maybe previously said, but here's the thing, and I'm just going to say it. Some of you are very emotionally needy. And I get that. Whether you have an anxious attachment style, whether it's, fear of abandonment, maybe you've always been that way, whatever. It is the case for many of you. You're needy. Guess what? That's you. If you want to get to the root of why that is, we can talk. We can coach it all out. But if you're dating someone right now and you know that you're a needy person or whatever the case might be, the question is, does he see those needs as being legit? Does he see those needs as being valid? Well, have you expressed those things to him first of all? Because some of you, you're not even comfortable saying like, hey, I want to hear from you every day. Like, hey, I do like you. I want to see where this goes. So I want to make sure that we're, both putting in effort. Or, hey, I want to see you like this many times a month. Or, hey, when I don't hear back from you, I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know where you stand. To some of you, it's like you have not yet gotten to that place of emotional intimacy. You don't know how to speak those things, but they are still needs of yours. And then when those needs are not being met, you're now frustrated with the man or you're lashing out. You still like them and want them, but that is how the toxic cycles end up repeating themselves. So you have to be comfortable saying these things and like, hey, so, well, my love language is, I really like when, when somebody does things for me or buys things for me. Speak. Like those things, like these are things that you must convey. Like being honest about who you are means also being able to relay those things to him. Have you told this man what you need and expect from him and in a romantic relationship. And yes, even from someone that you are dating. But now, once you tell him, and yes, it is your place to do so. I know everyone says a real man will know what you need. He'll know to bring you flowers, and he'll know to do this, and he'll know to call and text every day. And you got to remind him he's not a real man. I would say that is baloney. Okay, like a man, I'm sure he has dated women before. He's never dated you. We are all special and unique. I don't want anyone sending me flowers every week. I don't. Do not do that, like at all. But once you know, like whatever it is about you, you have to tell him what you need so that he can provide, or to see if he can and will provide it. But it's like, hey, so I really want to be able to whatever. Hey, I realize that that you only text, or I realize that you only call after a certain time. I'm just, I'm not really comfortable with that, or I'm not, really feeling that, or hey, I would like to hear from you more. Speak on it. And see how he responds. And that'll tell you, like, if he is not going to give you what you need, if he does not think that your needs are valid or legit, bye. And if at any time you are left guessing and wondering if this man cares about you or respects you or sees a future with you, like whatever, like if you're not even sure, then obviously that's not someone that you need to proceed with, especially if you are not yet comfortable asking questions. This is also why I sometimes say, especially for the anxious attachment style, like date multiple people. Because I'm that person, I would always I'm dating one person, but that was when I came out of like a 10-year relationship, and then having I would sometimes have that anxious attachment style, but just primarily because I'm used to having, like my feelings validated. I'm used to actually being in a committed relationship. So a lot of times, like I would get hooked on a guy very early. Like it's just like a couple of weeks, after meeting him from a dating site, and I'm already like thinking about the future and whatever else. But I mean, I'm just being completely honest. That's just me. And I had to realize, like, hey, dating one person does not work for you. Because then when you start adding more people, and again, I say dating, just dating, but when you at least are dating multiple people, it's like now you're not, okay, so this dude, you haven't heard from him in like a week. You're not really focused on, what's going on? And no, guess what? Because you still got a whole bench over here of people just waiting to get off. Just saying. In New Heart Academy, in the 12-week intensive, I gave like the students like 6 things that matter about a man more than anything else. Those who were in last term, you already know what I'm talking about, and those who are in now, that's an upcoming class. I gave 6 things because we are examining a man's character above everything else, right? Like personality, whatever. Compatibility, whatever. His character, those are the things that will help sustain a marriage like 10, 15, 20 years from now. What is his character showing right now? But in closing, let me say this. When you know what the Bible says about marriage, when you know what the Bible says about a husband and their responsibilities, and especially if that is something that matters to you, which it should, then you need to judge well. You need to discern well on whether that man that you're dating right now that is in your face, whether or not he is worth your time. Because what matters at the end of the day is the what and why of marriage. We have been romanticizing, meeting someone. We've been romanticizing marriage all out of frustration, desperation, loneliness, competition, self-imposed goals and deadlines and whatever else. We got to stop that. And the reason that right now, the only reason that I am finally able to relax in a relationship is because I get it now. Like, make no mistakes. He still knows I'm not going to just, enjoy and time is just going to, go on and be quiet and I'm just going to be his woman for 5 years. No, I already let him know that we're not playing that game, not playing. But we've talked about all the things that matter, and now we're just enjoying without all that extra pressure because I already had to go through all of these things I just mentioned before, the same things that I tell everybody else. So for the man that you are currently dating right now or the one who's about to come, think of all that I've said in this video, and then also ask yourself these questions, okay? Is he ready for what you're ready for? Because if you know that you are dating with the intention of marriage and that you want marriage to happen sooner rather than later, is he ready for that? Or is he still like, oh, I'm just like, I'm not really looking for anything. But you know that you want to get married, so then why are you wasting your time? Don't wait for him to change. Now, if you're saying like, hey, well, I do have a good, then add some more people to the mix, or at least ask God to confirm something. But is he even ready for what you're ready for? 2, is he interested? I know sometimes I'm like, well, obviously he's interested in me, like we talked. No, is he interested? Does he reach out to you first as well? Does he make plans? Is he intentional? Is he consistent? Is he trustworthy? Is he stable mentally, spiritually, financially, and emotionally? Do you feel safe with him emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically? Can he provide? Can he provide stability? Can he provide financially? Can he provide emotional support? All of those things. So those are things that you definitely have to think about and consider. Later, I'm going to actually reshare the relationship green flags, to also kind of add to everything that I've just said. But these are the things that you should be examining that will let you know more than anything. I don't care if you just met this guy a month ago. I don't care if it's been 2 weeks. I know some people, they'll start dating, and it's like even within 2 weeks, they've already had like 5 dates. Because again, there are a lot of intentional men out here who really are dating and looking for a wife. And again, I've been on the dating sites before. And again, once I really got clear on who I was and what I wanted, and I had my vision, y'all already know it, the Vision Workshop. Once I had my vision and whatever else, and I would come across a lot of these men as well who were very intentional. It's like, hey, I want to see you. It's like, they just got my number. They're calling the same night. Next night, hey, I want to take you out to dinner tonight. 2 nights later, hey, I would like to see you again. And before you know it, it's like 3 weeks, and y'all have already been on like how many dates? There are a lot of men who are intentional, and again, now the same way that a lot of us, we cut men off, a lot of these men, they're doing the same thing, because some men are going through this same little checklist where it's like, oh, okay, I don't really see this as being someone I would be married to. I don't really see this as being someone who would be a good wife for me. That's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Because why would you want someone to pick you if they are unsure about you? And I know sometimes like, oh, what's wrong with me? Well, I was really hoping. Okay, well, you were hoping, but guess what? He did you a favor because he saw what you couldn't see, that y'all are not suitable and complementary. But I'm telling you, once you get clear and then you have that confidence, you are going to date better, and you are going to attract a whole new breed. Yes, breed. You're going to attract a whole new breed of men where it's like, wow, this is nothing like the men that I used to date. Just saying. That's all I got to say to you, lovely ladies, all right? Y'all can connect with the website, newthinglifecoaching.com, and, of course, from there, the site will lead you to the podcast, Instagram, Twitter, and the private group. There you can also register for WallCon. Again, the first annual Win at Love conference is going to be virtual, Valentine's Day weekend. We are breaking chains. We are revoking any access that Satan had to your life, because one of his favorite targets is the single Christian woman. So we are going to be praying and worshiping, and I got a word when it comes to breaking the chains of Satan and to ensure that you win at Kingdom Love this year. And of course, on the site, you can even join the Academy before enrollment closes. And again, monthly membership program as well. We are making moves all 2022. We are doing the whole we will win, all right? Like, we are hitting the gas. No excuses for these men. No excuses for not achieving our goals and making moves and becoming financially stable and emotionally stable and mentally stable and spiritually grounded and physically healthy. We are doing all of those things. Like, I'm incorporating all of that. I've been talking more about the temple and everything, because it's like, we're not going to be just sitting here waiting on a man and waiting on whatever. We're not doing that this year. So keep all of that in mind. I love y'all. I want y'all to be blessed and do the work so that you can win at love. All right. I will catch all of you amazing ladies later. Talk to y'all. Bye.